Welcome to What's the Score, a series solely dedicated to the support of Central Florida's small business and entrepreneurs. Donated as a community service by AM 660 The Answer and Salem Communications. Now, here's Christopher Hart and Rich Jaeckle.
Hello, and welcome again to What's the Score, the show designed to help you come up with that winning combination for your business. Thank you once again for joining us. I am Christopher Hart of the American Adversaries Radio Show. And once again, I'm here today with Rich Jaeckle of SCORE. Rich, how ye be today?
How are you, Christopher of Hart?
Really great, really great. We had a great time the other night at the NFL Players
Yes,
meeting,
we did. Yes, we did. I brought a new player in.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah, I thought it was great. He played 9 years with the Predators.
Yeah.
And then CFL. Did you get a chance to talk to him?
I don't believe I did, no.
Yeah. E.J. Burt, his name is.
E.J. Burt.
Yep.
All right. That's great news. That's great news. And what else is great news is that SCORE is there for you folks, a great mentorship program at no charge. If you're in business for yourself already or want to get into business for yourself, got that entrepreneurial bug, SCORE's there to help you scratch it and make yourself into a big success. And, Rich, once again, this is a great organization that's been around going on 51 years now.
51 years, I know. It's a little older than I am, but it's been around for so long that it has a little bit more wisdom than I do, too. It's a bunch of volunteers across the nation, 10,000 of them to be exact.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in 348 different offices.
Around the country.
Around the country. So if you're going to a city, you're going to find a SCORE office to help you. And the SCORE volunteers are exactly that. They don't get paid. So when you come in to look for advice for your small business, it's free.
That's absolutely.
The F word, free.
The four-letter F word. The good one, that is. And, of course, here in Central Florida, they're located in a very central location at the Fashion Square Mall. And you can go in there 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, take out some brochures, talk to the people there, and just get a feel of it if you'd like to. And then you can always make an appointment and take advantage of their services. The phone number is 407-420-4844. That's the number for the switchboard where you'll find SCORE. That's 407-420-4844, the International Entrepreneur Center at the Fashion Square Mall, located right between Sears and J.C. Penney. And, of course, you can always visit SCORE's website, scoreorlando.org. Real easy to remember, scoreorlando.org. And, of course, because it is a national organization, as Rich was just saying, you can go to their national website where you'll find more in terms of legal documentation and that sort of thing that you might need depending on what kind of business you're going into, and that is simply score.org. So score.org national, scoreorlando.org, of course, for the local market here.
Yep.
And we got another great show lined up. And once again, there's a lot of big events. And SCORE always seems to be right in the middle of some big events. But once again, there's a lot of big events coming up. But I just want to remind you that if you're listening and it's Saturday morning, you need to be on the way to the SCORE meeting, which is at 9:30 at the Entrepreneur Center. It's the seminar entitled You, Your Business Idea, How SCORE Can Help. And that's a free seminar. Now, some of the seminars have a cost, but it's not very much. But this one is free, You, Your Business Idea, How SCORE Can Help. And they'd like you to let them know ahead of time if you're going to be there so they make sure they've got enough handouts for everyone. And, of course, you can do that at scoreorlando.org. Or calling the Entrepreneur Center. So that's today, Saturday, and if you've missed Saturday's show, then you can also, the seminar, you can go on Tuesday evening coming up, and that will be at 6 p.m., and once again, that's You, Your Business Idea, How SCORE Can Help. And that's Tuesday at 6 p.m. And these are put on a regular basis, so we will once again update you on that. But we got a lot more other. Well, not a lot more other. That's not quite grammatically correct, but we have a lot of other events to talk about.
Yeah, my bar friends understood every word of that.
Hey, I tell you what, there's some other big events that are coming up, and we want to talk about those as well. A great event that's already going on a weekly basis. So, Rich, why don't you tell us about our guests today?
Yes, I would love to tell you. As a matter of fact, our guest today is in the National Entrepreneurs Center and is a community service provider for that center. Now, he is a devilish character. That's why his name is Rogue. So I would like to introduce Rogue Gallart.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
And he's not French. He's not exotic. I thought we were going to have a real big to-do here, being African or something like that, but he's just a normal guy. So Rogue the Gallart, he says his father played a joke on him, so now he's paying. And you have a guest over here as well.
That's right. Another gentleman from SCORE. He's the Vice Chair of Education. He was on with us a couple of weeks ago when we had Barbara Stankowski on. And by the way, we're going to be talking a little bit more about her in a few minutes. But I want to welcome back to the show today, John Tassie. Thanks for being back on the air with us, sir, John.
Well, I had such a wonderful time a couple of weeks ago with Barbara and you that I jumped at the opportunity when Rich mentioned that he'd like to have me come again.
Okay.
Well, John, we had your microphone turned off for the entire show.
I listened to that show myself when it was rerun.
Okay.
And I heard myself.
By the way, folks, these shows are provided as a public service by Salem Media Group. We're located here in Altamont Springs. And if you would like to find out more about how you can be on radio, either with your own show like this one or by radio advertising, call the station manager here at Salem Media Group. That's Bill Files. His phone number is 407-618-1760. And be like John. Hear yourself on the radio, 407-618-1760. And that's Bill Files, station manager. All right, let's get back to Rogue Gallart. And Rogue, you've not been on the show before, so I want to get a feel, for the audience, what you're all about. You're the president of the Central Florida Disability Chamber of Commerce. First of all, tell us what that is all about and how long have you been around?
Well, the chamber actually has been around since 2009, and we great location with our other partners, and such as SCORE and many of the other chambers at the National Entrepreneur Center. So we're very fortunate to be a part of that group that helps entrepreneurs in Central Florida. Our focus as a Central Florida Disability Chamber of Commerce is to assist any individual with a disability in their entrepreneurial endeavors, whether it's through education, helping them find financial stability, if they're just coming into a startup and just want information on how to start a business. And again, the networking piece, which is really key. But a lot of people say, do I have to have a disability to become a member of the chamber? And we say no, because we have a majority of our members are persons with disabilities who want to connect with disability owned businesses, so they can do work with them. So that's a good funnel for them to connect with us, so we can direct them in the right direction for entrepreneurs.
So I can come in there as a business, non-disability owned business, and find people that I might want to employ in there?
Definitely.
This I did not know.
Yeah, it's open, and a lot of people don't know also that our hub is Central Florida, but we actually serve the entire state of Florida.
That's fantastic. Now, folks, you can go to their website, if you like to, at cfdisabilitychamber.org. That's CF, short for Central Florida, obviously, cfdisabilitychamber.org. And how long has the chamber been around?
Since 2009, and we've grown since then. We have an office in Tampa as well. So we're trying to obviously extend our reach. Obviously, our focus is right now to continue with Central Florida, because that's our home here. But we've been around since 2009, and writing business plans as well for many clients and helping them find funding through different Department of Education grants that were out there as well.
Now, are you like SCORE, where you don't charge for your services to the disabled person?
That is correct. If somebody comes in and they want assistance, or anything that we can do, we will assist them. As a Chamber of Commerce, we do have a membership fee if they want to continue as far as the networking piece or try to connect with any of those other organizations. But it's a very nominal fee, for individuals who want to partake. And of course, we have our sponsors and trustees that involve themselves, so they can also network in the community with our persons with disabilities who are owners of businesses.
Now, you call yourself a chamber, yet individuals can join.
Yes, we individuals join.
How do you differentiate that there from other chambers?
Well, actually, basically, what we don't do is we will, if a company wants to join our chamber, unless, we start looking at if it's one or two people, we're not charging them per person. Unless it's something that becomes something like we have 10 people want to join, and then we can talk about a different fee, but it really won't be that much different than what the original fee is. Again, the focus is for us, especially since a lot of disability owned businesses, there's a lot of things that they have from financial standpoint that they're really trying to work on their finances. So we want to make sure also that we're cost effective for them, especially if they're starting out a business, because we know that it can be very expensive. So we want to try to make sure they get a bang for their buck as a single member for a chamber. And most are single members as well. They don't come in as 5 or 6 people already in the business.
Okay, if I'm a disabled person, do I have to be a business to see you?
No, you don't. No, you can actually come in and say, you know what, I'm starting my business plan. I'm getting an idea. Where do I go? What do I do? And we will help them from our side. But the great thing about it is, too, that we can direct them to great organizations such as SCORE that are right there that they can go. And obviously the same thing for majority of all of the SCORE services are pretty much free. So it's great for them as well. And they can connect to other organizations that have seminars. And we partner with other chambers. So if we have some clients that want to try to connect in there, we'll do some connectivity that way.
And once again, Rogue's organization, CF Disability Chamber, or Central Florida Disability Chamber of Commerce, I should say, is located in the Entrepreneur Center, just like SCORE is. So they're neighbors right over there. That's why, that's a very close relationship. And as you heard, Rogue is focusing on the disabled people, but you can be a member of the organization even if you are able, so to speak. So you are presently sponsoring a big event, which is going on over at the Entrepreneur Center. Is that correct?
Yes. The Veterans Business Initiative program.
Okay.
Just a little history on how this started is we've had a program prior to that called the Youth Entrepreneurship Program, where we focus with students with cognitive and learning disabilities. And we've run that program for several years, and it's been very successful. And many of the sponsors are very involved. But Florida Hospital approached us and said, we want to challenge you to create this program to assist our veterans and finding employment and continuing education and also becoming an entrepreneur, obviously with the focus of one of the main focuses of the Chamber of Commerce. So we started this program. We did a pilot program last year for 4 weeks. We did a small one. We wanted to kind of test the waters and see where it was going. And we had an overwhelming number of veterans that we were able to partner with Career Source Central Florida, and they were funneling, basically Career Central Florida funneled the candidates to us. They screened them, that they were actually veterans, and put them into the class with us. And it was a 4-week class. And we started with a small number, it was about 15, which morphed into 23 because we didn't turn anybody away who wanted to attend. So.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're going to have to carry this conversation over to the next segment of the show. But you've heard us telling you about the Veterans Business Initiative, but today you're going to get a much better feel of exactly what does go on there and the organizations that have been participating, which includes SCORE in one of the sessions coming up. So please don't go away because we're coming right back. Okay, welcome back to What's the Score? And once again, I want to thank all you listeners out there for telling your friends and family about us because our listenership is growing and we very much appreciate that. Once again, this show is brought to you by Salem Media Group as a public service. And if you'd like to call the station manager and thank him for that, you could do that. Give Bill Files a call at 407-618-1760. And I am Christopher Hart, again here today with Rich Jaeckle of SCORE, John Tassie of SCORE, and Rogue Gallart he is the president of Central Florida Disability Chamber of Commerce. And we're talking about an event that's been going on now. You're almost halfway through the event, I think, aren't you? We
are. It's 8 weeks. 8 weeks. We're going now on session 4 next week, actually.
Okay. You've heard us talking about the Veterans Business Initiative, and it's sort of a 3-part, 3-in-1, if you will, event. They have education there, opportunities for training. Say, for instance, if a veteran wants to go back to school or get some extra training, they will help that veteran get that arranged. They have a job fair going on there, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that here in a few minutes. Also, if a veteran wants to get started in his or her own business, they have assistance for entrepreneurs there as well. And you were just beginning to tell us about how this all came about. Florida Hospital challenged you. You put together sort of a pilot, if you will. And now you've got this bigger seminar, series of seminars going on. First of all, tell us what has already been happening and what's the response you've been getting.
Well, we had the kickoff this year for the new session February 5th. And again, we had all of the participants were there at the event, and all the candidates also showed up at the event to kind of get a better grasp of what is to come. Because what we asked is commitment. is really important, is because it wasn't that we can ask them to show up to any just one. The commitment is that they show up for every segment. So this way we can do a proper follow-up, because the outcome we want for them is either that they find a job. We would love for them to find a job. Well, we would love for them not to return if they find a job. That's great. But for them to find a job, get enrolled in a school to continue their education, or start in that path for entrepreneurship, whether it's be working through SCORE, whether it's be working through the SBDC or many of the other organizations that are there, that's what we're going to do. And it's different because what we do is a follow-up outcome. So even after the program is done, we're following up with each individual that signed up with this program, and not just the chamber, but the actual sponsor. So, for instance, Florida Hospital will follow up with them. Regions Bank, who came on, is going to follow up with them. Orlando Business Journal, who's also a sponsor, is going to follow up with them. And also, they're going to make sure that they have the right programming so they can continue on with the programs.
Okay, now how many candidates and how many sponsors showed up versus last year?
Well, we had more sponsors this year and more candidates. So we focused on opening it up to 100. And because
100 candidates?
100 candidates,
okay.
and we had 76 signed up.
76 and you only had 20-something last year.
Yeah, and originally we wanted to only do 15. Yeah, so it's grown and grown, and we're looking to see
300%. That's good.
It's really good.
Now, you represent the Central Florida Disability Chamber of Commerce. What percentage of them are disabled?
Of veterans?
Yes.
Well,
candidates.
We can't gauge that. We can't gauge that because of different laws unless they actually disclose that to us. And as the program is coming through, they start disclosing that. So, for instance, for Career Source Central Florida, who funnels them, and through the Orlando VA Medical Center, who is another partner, they're able to give us that information because they disclose that through them. So once we start going through the program, we're tallying up which percentage has a disability.
But they're only able to give that information with the veteran's permission.
Correct.
In other words, that's sealed.
Well,
right. Unless the veterans want to tell it.
I'm sort of glad we went down this path a little bit because, in particular with this past week, a couple of weeks with the trial of the fellow who killed the American sniper, Chris Kyle, there are a lot of disabilities that you can't see. When we think of the word disability, I think at least in my case, what pops into my mind is someone in a wheelchair or someone with something that you can see or detect.
A physical, yeah.
Right, something somehow. But it's not always the case, especially in this day and age, as we now know. So this type of program is so extremely important. Is this being done anywhere else in the nation? You mentioned you've expanded to Tampa, but what about other organizations doing the same thing?
Now, we've done the research, and through our sponsor, another sponsor that I mentioned, Manpower, who has been really vital to this program because they're basically the ones also that are connecting people with the jobs. They have all the jobs, they're connecting all these candidates, and they were the perfect person to do that. We work with Manpower on this to try to take a look to see is there another program being done like this. There are job fairs, and those are going on. And the thing with the job fair, I'm not saying anything's wrong with the job fair. Job fairs are great. Because they may not know what jobs are. But these are actual businesses that are coming to this program and saying, we have jobs. Mm-hmm. We're not going to guarantee that everybody's going to walk out of a job, but we're leaving it in your hands to show us what you have.
Manpower actually has a complete organization that works with just disabled vets.
Yes.
So we want to make that clear that when you go to Manpower, you're really getting some good help in there.
And many of these organizations, for instance, yesterday we finished another session, and many of these other organizations, businesses, big businesses such as Universal and Disney, for instance, I'll use Disney as a perfect example that was there. They have the Heroes Work Here program, which they have an incentive to hire veterans. So we were very fortunate yesterday that we had one of the retired colonels at the event from Walt Disney World ESPN speak to all the candidates so they can connect with the actual veterans. So that's what we want to do. We want to, I'm for disclosure, I was never in the military. My dad was, but I can talk about so many things about veterans, but unless you have somebody else who can connect there, and that's what we have the liaisons with Career Source Central Florida, who have these veteran liaisons to talk to our candidates so they know that we're not just talking.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to interject and talk, mention at least some of these other businesses that have been involved.
Please.
Week one, which was February 9th, you had Regions Bank, Career Source, Manpower. Week two, you had VA Hospital there, One Blood, and HBI. That's another bank, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Week three, you had Disney, Primerica, Universal, Nova Southwestern University. And coming up here on the 5th, Tijuana Flats, the Rosen Hotel Group, and the University of Phoenix. Phoenix. I mean, as you said, you got a lot of participants here and a lot of opportunities hanging out there.
Well, and it's a great thing for us because a lot of our the chamber sponsors. Some of these are those, but there are a majority on here that are not, and they're getting involved because they want to find, it's not just about just doing the right thing. And that is, it's always a great thing saying, let's do the right thing.
That's what I've been trying to say here. When we were involved in Vietnam, John Tassie and I, when we came home, there was nothing even close to any organizations like this that helped the veterans. We were kicked out and just...
Yeah, it was actually the opposite, yeah.
It was quite the opposite. Yeah. So, guys, take advantage of these things that are happening to you.
And real quick, I'll go to you, John, but what's great about what you're doing is just you've got this three-pronged approach. And then the follow-up, which is, they don't just come in, get a little job training, and, okay, see you later.
Right.
Here's how to write a resume. Now go on out there and find a job.
The actual people, the actual businesses, the actual HR, and not only HR representatives, there's a lot of people there that are directors of different parts of the company. They give their email out and say, send me an email, let me know where you are, because that's what we're saying. We're not just going to forget you.
All right, John.
Yeah, Rogue, if you're just hearing about this, you're a veteran, you're hearing about it today on the radio, and for the first time, can you come to next Thursday's event as a veteran?
Of course. No, we leave it open. So just definitely send me an email or contact myself, Elisa Hancock, and the information. You can just go to the website on our chamber and just let us know if you're coming. By all means, we'll welcome you and come out and see what we're doing. We'd love to have people come out and shadow and see what we're doing to see if they can. We're always welcoming new information that we can use.
Okay, real quickly, because I want to give people the information on how to get a hold of Rogue and his organization. The website is cfdisabilitychamber.org. That's cfdisabilitychamber.org. And don't forget, you can, because they're located at the Entrepreneur Center, the Entrepreneur answering switchboard is 407-420-4844. So you would ask for Rogue, or if you want to speak to someone in SCORE, you would ask for someone in SCORE. Is that correct?
No.
What's
the telephone number is 4848.
That's for SCORE.
No. That's for the general.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got it backwards. Duh. There's my dyslexia.
It's an age thing. You have a birthday recently.
There you go. 407-420-4848 is the switchboard.
There you go.
And that will get you to anybody at the Entrepreneur Center. The number for SCORE is the number we give out, 4844. So thank you for correcting me on that.
Yeah, and I'd like to say, guys, get up and get out and go to this event. If you even just want to walk through the place and see what's available to you, do it, because it is for you. And it's not for us.
And it's at the Entrepreneur Center every Wednesday morning at what time?
No, this is Thursday.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Thursday morning.
Yeah, we fluctuate the schedule, so the next schedule will be Thursday. And then following that will be another following Thursday.
2 Thursdays.
Right.
And it starts at 9.
Right.
9 a.m. And and once again, it's free to you veterans out there. And so if you haven't been, go. If you've been going, keep going. So, and I sort of left off at session 4, but session 5, that's going to be a big wing day, big hoedown
that's
that
the
day.
Big cheese right there. Yeah. I will be attending that one.
That's going to be Thursday, the 12th of March, 9 a.m. And Rich will be there. John, you'll be there too.
Yep, I'll be there.
And
great. John will try to dress up in his 1968 uniform.
Well, what is
good luck with that?
No way that's going to fit.
Maybe one leg.
What will SCORE do there?
What SCORE will do is we'll talk to the individual veterans that are there about what their needs are and what they're looking for and how SCORE might be able to help them or any other organization might be able to help them. So it's geared for those that are interested in starting a business.
And you guys are veterans yourselves.
We are. Both in the... Well, no, I was in first. You were in after me.
Well, I'm a lot younger.
You'd like to think that anyway.
But you weren't an Army engineer, were you?
I certainly was not. I blew up bridges.
That's what engineers do.
They put them back together.
We build them and then we blow them up.
All right. And Barbara Stankowski, who she herself is I think she said 28-year veteran of the United States Navy. That's right. Yeah. She will be there, and she's with AMTIS. And she was on the show several weeks back with John. And AMTIS is an organization that provides services to the government. You want to talk about job security. And she needs people. She needs people for her organization. She said she'll be hiring that day. are looking to hire people.
That's a good point. That's specifically why she's going there.
Yep, and that's what Rogue is talking about. These people are not just, trying to, feather their pillows or something like that. They're there because they want good employees.
And if I may add, just because I know there was a moment,
want to help somebody get into a job.
Yeah,
a business.
The Orlando Business Journal actually has a top 50 veteran business-owned companies in their book of lists.
You're kidding me.
If anybody goes there, they can take a look at the top 50 business in Central
Can
Florida.
we get that? Can we get that list?
All right, we'll talk about that when we come back from the break. We're going to have to go ahead and take another break. And when we come back, we'll continue the conversation with Rogue about the Veterans Business Initiative. And we got some other events to talk about as well. So please do not go away. Okay, welcome back to What's the Score, the show designed to help you come up with that winning combination for your business. And in this particular case, what we're talking about here today, find a great job. And because we're talking about the Veterans Business Initiative, which is going on every week now through the end of March, or through the 24th of March anyway, at the National Entrepreneur Center located in the Fashion Square Mall. We're talking with Rogue Gallart. He is the president of the Central Florida Disability Chamber of Commerce, who has organized and is sponsoring this Veterans Business Initiative at the impetus of Florida Hospital. And SCORE is a participant, and they will be there on Thursday, the 12th. And these events start at 9 a.m. For veterans. And hopefully you've already been going to these events, and you've heard us talking about them. You've taken advantage of it. But if you haven't, you still have a chance to go. Get on over there. And Rich.
Yeah, I was just going to say that John and I are bringing our muskets from the time that we served in the military, and we'll give off a two-gun salute.
I was wondering. I saw that tricorn hat in the back of your car.
Well, there you go, yeah.
So I was wondering about
the
that.
The military was a little different in those days.
Rich is keeping his powder dry.
That's why you wear knickers around here.
No, that's not, but that's another story.
All right. We were giving you a little rundown of what's been going on since this began. Organizations like Regions Bank, Manpower, the VA Hospital, Disney, Universal, Nova Southwestern University have all been there to try to help veterans either find a place in their organization or, in the case of Nova University, get them set up with some educational training. Now, I see coming up Thursday this week, you have Tijuana Flats there, Rosen Hotel Group, and the University of Phoenix. Obviously, Tijuana Flats and the Rosen Group are looking to hire people, probably for all sorts of different kind of jobs, I would imagine.
Yeah, and they're very, my understanding is they're very focused, obviously, on veteran hirees because of the management. There are some veterans there. So, that's one of the folks they reach out to.
Well, I know Harris Rosen, for one, has been a great supporter of veterans and education for groups of people, in places in society that, other organizations don't go. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. He goes. And so hats off to Harris Rosen. And I'm not at all surprised to see his organization's name amongst those that will be there hiring veterans. The University of Phoenix, they're there.
They're there. We again, that's one of the components of this whole program is, again, the education piece. So they're there as a continuing education counterpart. So they're going to reach out to these veterans who want to seek out maybe going to University of Phoenix, whether it's going to University of Phoenix or Nova or UCF or their involvement. They're there obviously to see if they can guide them and see if they're a right fit for their college. So,
Chris, we had a guest on the show a while back that was a technology expert, right? A doctor or something like that invented something, and with all the apps and all these, the stuff that I truly love, the internet and technology. And he was saying, my kids, I'm going to send my kids to technical schools and get an education to be a plumber.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, I remember the fellow you're talking about. Yeah, he was a young fella.
Right.
And I'll look at my notes to come up with his name. But, he was saying he wants
Weller, maybe, or it's Dr. Weller?
He wants his children to know how to use their hands. In other words, how to make money with their hands. Because if everybody's getting the education to be in the high-tech field, the plumbers are going to be making a killing out there because there won't be enough of them around.
So these types of schools, that's right. So
University
of Phoenix. But yesterday I did a seminar over at Orange County Technical Schools.
Yeah.
Same idea. It's, learn a trade. If you can't, and everybody can't be a librarian. So learn trade here, and coming out of the military, it's easy.
And one of the things that they're all, every organization here that's part of this, whether it's our sponsors, whether it's the actual employers or the educators, is that, focusing on translating skills and translating that skill. Because, again, there's so many vets that have so much education, things that I will never have done in my life that you can't just put on a resume and show up with a 12-page resume. And that's just, how do you translate all that into a one-sheet or a two-sheeter? And it's changed. Like, is it a one-sheet now? Is it a two-sheet resume? It's just so much, because so many people have so many things. How do you put that all together? And that's what what we're trying to do with this program, is translate all your skills so you can actually find the right proper job or continue your education.
Right. You're not going to teach these guys how to be an Army engineer.
No.
God help you. But, I mean, you're going to teach them a trade or take advantage of this whole thing.
All right. And the following week, once again, that'll be on Thursday the 12th. SCORE will be there, along with ITT Technical Institute. Regions Bank will be back there, along with AMTIS and our favorite gal, Barbara Stankowski. And, John, AMTIS is, I probably overgeneralized what they do. They do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, she does government contracts, not only the Defense Department, but all kinds of government departments. She needs a variety of different skills. Some are technology, some are not. So it's not a one job fits all. She has all kinds of different jobs that she needs to fill. So a great company to come and see and talk with.
And by the way, she confirmed on our show, these are not minimum wage jobs. And that would be, even if the minimum wage were much higher than it is now, these are good paying jobs.
And she definitely prefers to hire veterans. There's no question about it.
And she's a veteran-owned company, and she prefers to be a certain percentage veterans. So get out there, guys.
And gals.
Guys is a generic term.
Well, that's right.
I learned that in the 60s.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Originally, it was
generic, right?
Absolutely.
So don't confuse this, ladies.
All right. So that will be on the 12th. ITT Tech, obviously, they teach technical skills. A lot of people coming out of the military have technical skills. They just need to learn how to apply them in the civilian market, if you will.
Or they need to get hired.
Or they just need to get a chance. That's right. Get a foot in the door. Speaking of that, let me ask you this, Rogue. How many, and can you determine this, how many of these veterans are coming to you homeless?
We do have some. We have engaged, but I know that at the actual kickoff event, we had one gentleman who we wanted people to get to know these veterans, because we had the people who actually make the decisions of hiring. So we asked all the veterans to stand up and actually introduce themselves, and one actually disclosed that he was homeless and could not find a job. And the fact that in this day and age is still happening, whether homelessness in general, but just, you have you're a veteran, you've done all this to serve your country, and how did it get to that point that you can't find a job? And my understanding, he had education. He had an education background, so it wasn't, he didn't graduate high school. So where are the missing pieces? And we're hoping, we can't say we're going to solve everything, but we're hoping we can make other employers aware that, you have these candidates who are ready to work and could probably help your workforce. So hopefully we'll be able to do that.
Now, I see you have on here VA Hospital for interviews. They were there hiring, I take it?
They were there, yes, hiring, and they were basically going over all the jobs. And just for a public disclosure, the VA right now is got 1,200 openings, and they're looking to hire 1,200 people, especially with the new opening of the new...
You mean here in Central Florida?
Here in Central Florida. 1,200 jobs are there waiting. So it's just finding the right candidates, and veterans need to go out there and say, hey, what do we go? They have to have the patience, too, is what's key. And I know it can be frustrating, even with anybody who's not a veteran in the workforce. But they need to connect with somebody to find out, how do I get in there?
Into the workforce. Right. I talked to these guys, the veterans, and found out that they will hire bed movers. A skill as simple as moving a bed from one bedroom down to an operation room. And for somebody who may have some emotional issues or something, that is a perfect job. Right? There's no responsibility, no nothing, and they get paid. They will hire all the way to, surgical assistants and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're not talking. Rich is not talking about moving patients on gurneys. He's talking about moving empty beds from one location to another.
I'm talking about both.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, when I was they moved me.
Right. How closely is the VA hospital watching what you're doing, so that perhaps they can encourage this elsewhere in the country?
Well, one of the things we've partnered with the VA before on when they had their Welcome Home career fairs. So what we in working with them in the past, we said, we have this program. Why don't you come out and show everybody what opportunities you have? And I know that, going through websites and things like that can be sometimes a little frustrating. But I think the VA will go back and say, how many of these initiative programs are going on around the country? And I think hopefully they'll go back and assess that. But I know that Central Florida VA, I know with the opening of the new hospital, they have a lot of opportunities, and they're really trying to key into veterans. They're really trying to key is we have jobs.
Yep. Right. And once again, it's the three-pronged approach. It's not just a job fair,
Correct.
or it's not just job training,
Correct.
or it's not just entrepreneurial assistance. It's all three in one, because one size doesn't fit all.
Or they may need both, or they may need a job. They may need a simple job that may pay only $10, $11 an hour while they're doing their entrepreneurial.
Well, they're going back to school.
Exactly. But they get all three.
Right.
So it really gives them the opportunity to make the choice for themselves.
And the follow-up is key. That's what
follow-up is wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of these guys, you can go in and get a job moving beds and go back to school, get your degree, and when you're done, and it's all paid for by the government.
And if that fits, that opportunity is...
It's sweet.
Sweet. There's a lot of other things out there. Speaking of Florida Hospital, they will be there on the 6th session. At the 6th session, I should say, which will be on Wednesday the 18th. So once again, there'll be 2 Thursdays coming up and then a Wednesday, and that'll be the 18th. Florida Hospital will be there. Manpower will be back. UCF is going to be there along with their incubator program. So they're going to be there as both education and training and entrepreneurial assistance.
Correct.
So that's going to be a great session to be at. All these sessions will be great sessions, actually. And Florida Hospital, once again, they're there looking to hire bed movers and a lot of other things, I would imagine, too.
Especially in technology.
Hey, where can they get the schedule? Guys, we've been talking about this. Where can we get the schedule?
Well, they can find it at the Entrepreneur Center.
Right.
You can walk into the Entrepreneur Center.
Right at the front desk.
And they have it at the front desk. If you want to contact Rogue personally, he'll send you one. You can contact Rogue that's Rogue, ROGUE, at nationalec.org. Rogue, ROGUE, at nationalec.org. That's National Entrepreneur Center. But once again, just plan on being there. Just plan on being there, because whichever session that you go to,
you're going to learn something.
You're going to learn something. And if you've already been going, you need to keep going. If you haven't gone, you need to go ahead and get involved now. And so it's coming up this Thursday, and then the next Thursday, and that following Wednesday, and then you'll have a closing session on the 24th. What's going to happen that day?
At the closing session, we don't want to call it basically say a graduation type, but it'll be a networking piece where all the attendees will be able to connect with all the employers. And by then, there may be new jobs that just opened up, and we're also going to have other employers who were not able to make the sessions and come network with some of these candidates and maybe set up an interview. So that's really going to be a big piece. Just like the kickoff is just basically having everybody in the room saying we need it.
Okay, we got to take the final break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation and then talk about some other events that SCORE is involved in, including, of course, the Big Biz Fest. So please don't go away. We'll be right back with more from What's the Score? Okay, welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of What's the Score? Once again, folks, we love to hear from you. We love to get your suggestions, your comments. Sure, Chris. If you have them, send them to us at score@nationalec.org. That's score@nationalec.org. And don't forget, you can find out all about what SCORE is involved with week in and week out by simply going to scoreorlando.org. That's scoreorlando.org. And the national website is score.org. And the phone line for the Entrepreneur Center, if you want to try to reach Rogue Gallart, you can call him at 407-420-4848. Is that right?
Very good.
All
Very
right.
good.
And the number for SCORE at the Entrepreneur Center is the number we normally give out, 420-4844, which I'm sure if you call them, you can still find your way. They'll either give you the switchboard number or switch you through. So either one of those numbers will get you to the guys over there, because they are all located at the Entrepreneur Center in the Fashion Square, where the Veterans Business Initiative is going on and will be going on through March the 24th. And once again, if you would like to find a schedule, like to find out more about this, like to talk with Rogue, you can email him at rogue@nationalec.org, ROGUE @nationalec.org, or of course give a call over there and set up an appointment. He'd love to sit down and talk with you, in particular if you are a veteran or want to join the Disability Chamber of Commerce. Okay. We got some other stuff coming up, though. But first of all, I want to get back with John Tassie because John is the Vice Chair of Education over at SCORE. John, what in the world exactly does that mean? You get up in front of a blackboard and start drawing figures and doing equations and things?
No, I don't even have enough time to go into that.
Yeah, that's a big.
According to John,
well, just give us a little.
What I'll say is we identify educational areas that people need help in for starting their business or running their business. And we have a lot of courses taught by SCORE volunteers themselves. We also do some professional outside vendors that come in and talk about some very specialized topics. But right now we have over 30 different seminars, workshops that we offer. Any given month, there's 16 to 19 different seminars. They're generally low cost. Half of them are $10 or less. The others range between $20 and $40. Again, go to the scoreorlando.org website. You can see when the courses are going to be. You can find descriptions of the courses, and you can register for the courses that you may be interested in.
And of course, so if you will, the opening seminar, Your Business Idea, How SCORE Can Help, is March the 3rd will be the next one, and that'll be Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. at the Entrepreneur Center. They'd like you to let them know ahead of time so they make sure they have enough material in terms of handouts. But if you're there and you just want to come on in and to be a part of that seminar. That one, once again, is free. And John.
Yeah, we're working on an initiative right now that's going to, it's called BizFest, and it's going to be on May 19th at the Entrepreneur Center. And this is a day, morning, certainly, mid-morning to early evening, where we're going to be doing some speed counseling where people can come down and get advice, and they're short. They're not full-length hour or 2-hour sessions. They're more like 20 minutes to a half hour where people can get help. We also are going to ask entrepreneurs who are interested in getting some funding to pitch their business to the audience. And so we're going to have professionals evaluating the pitches, and there will be prizes for those people that are winners. We're also going to have business forums, and they're talking about how to get funding. There's some stuff on social media. So all of this activity is going on May 19th at SCORE.
And that's the BizFest, of course, and that's going to be coming now an annual event, it looks like, at SCORE, and it's free.
And guess who we got for our speaker?
That's supposed to be a surprise, I thought.
It is supposed to be a surprise.
Well, tell us who it is then.
Well, it's a surprise. I can't tell you.
Well, we'll keep it a secret amongst us and our audience.
We're having one of our favorite Orlando entrepreneurs here. You and I know him well.
Who was that? Who would that be?
That would be somebody associated with the Orlando Predators.
All right. I think you're talking about our buddy Mike.
Mike McBath.
Excellent.
Who is a defensive end for the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
Back in the 1840s.
Played the World Football League. Actually, he was roommate with O.J. Simpson.
There you go.
When O.J.
says it all.
When O.J. was drafted by the Bills, they were made roommates. Mike had already been there a season, and so we'd like to tease him that he took showers with O.J. Simpson.
Was that in jail or was that in?
Oh no, that was with the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
Mike is a man of impeccable of moral standards. And
he's like me.
He's got an excellent resume. I tell you what.
He's a fine gentleman, and he agreed last night when we were at the get together.
Yeah, and so
we look forward to having him.
Yeah, that would be great. And Mike's dynamic speaker.
Last time we did this, I think last year, we had about 400 or so people.
We had 286.
Okay,
280 people. This year, we expect to have probably in the 350s. At least.
And that's not counting, of course, all the businesses and sponsors that you had there.
The sponsors will be there with their tables, and it's a wonderful opportunity to network.
Absolutely. And so that will be May 19th. You don't have to register, do you? But it's probably a good idea, too.
No. You can walk right through just, it's networking. So you have all these events going on at the same time.
Yep.
It's kind of like you got to decide which kind of candy do I want.
But if you want to be in the Pitch Fest, you have to register.
You have to
submit your idea. How does one do that?
Well, there's an application process. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure exactly what it is. But I know you have to fill out an application.
Go to scoreorlando.org,
right.
And they have it set up on there. But you can't start submitting the applications until March the 15th, I believe.
Correct. March
Paul
15th.
told us last week, on March the 15th, the application window will open. And so just watch for that date on your calendar. Begin to put together your idea. Obviously, you want it to be in an there'll be an application type form, but you want to have sort of your what do you guys call it? Your elevator pitch.
Elevator pitch. Speech. Elevator speech.
In other words, in 2 or 3 paragraphs, be able to describe and tell what your product or service does and why it's unique and why it would warrant somebody putting a little bit of money on the line for it.
Why should I buy it?
Or why exactly?
Why should I buy it? That's the biggest thing.
All right. There you go. Rich just gave you the tip for how to win this contest.
You remember
convince people why they should buy your product or service, and that really is the bottom line.
Do you know how many entrants we had a year ago?
A bunch.
Okay.
I guess that doesn't qualify as an answer, does it?
I just remember a lot of people were doing a lot of work screening a lot of recommendations.
I was going to say, I believe Paul either mentioned it when we were off air last week or he might have mentioned it on air, but it was multiple dozens. It was quite a few, if I remember correctly.
I thought it was over 100.
Well, now I know when I report my numbers, I can say just a bunch.
There you go. Do you think that'll fly?
That's the standard.
The government, the IRS, they love that. Yeah. So, but anyway, BizFest is going to be a great, as the fellas said, great networking opportunity and another great way to find out exactly what SCORE is all about and what you can find there. And they will be having some panel discussions. One is on social networking, I believe, and one is on alternate finance sources.
That's right. That's going to be interesting.
Everybody wants to know, what that's all about.
Yep.
And
marketing on a shoestring, I think, is the other one. So.
Yeah. So real quickly, is the Central Florida Disability Chamber going to be there that day?
We will probably come out there, yeah, definitely, and support SCORE and many of the other organizations that are out there. So for sure, we'll be out there.
Okay, so this is going to be a great opportunity to meet all the fellas, and then once again come out and see what these organizations are all about. And the Central Florida Disability Chamber is just one of the multitude of other organizations that is at the Entrepreneur Center, right, Rich?
Absolutely right. Rogue, what is there, 11 now or 9 that are separate organizations?
I think it's actually 12. I think that we just added
No, this is our show. So it's either 11 or it's 9, okay?
We'll take 9.
But there are other chamber groups there as well?
Yeah, the Hispanic Chamber, the African-American,
Asian-American Chamber.
Asian. We even had the Brits represented, didn't we? You have the British American?
They're no longer there.
Right.
They aren't?
No.
Oh, okay.
They pulled out back
you didn't get the memo.
in 1780. Anyway, so National Entrepreneur Center is the focal point of these activities. But they're reaching out into the community, helping people out. And I really like this organization, the Central Florida Disability Chamber of Commerce. Rogue, can people just donate to your organization? Do you look for volunteers or anything like that?
Yeah, no, we're definitely look for any assistance that we can do to bring back into the community. So, aside from being a member, coming out, and volunteering, if they're interested in any of our programs, how they can assist, please by all means reach out to us and see how we can find a good fit with you within the chamber to assist us and help our community. And we're very thankful to be a partner with SCORE and many of the other organizations and be located at the National Entrepreneur Center. And thank you again for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
And
Absolutely.
Once again, if you're a veteran and whether you're disabled or abled, this would be a great organization for you to be a member of because there'll be so many benefits that you'll find there, no matter where you're at in life, I might add, no matter where you're at in life. And if you want to find out more about the Central Florida Disability Chamber of Commerce, just go to cfdisabilitychamber.org. That's cfdisabilitychamber.org. And you can email Rogue at nationalec.org. That's Rogue, R-O-G-U-E, at nationalec.org. So please take advantage of helping this organization out. And if you're a veteran especially, I think you really need to be a part of this.
Yeah, I remember just one last item about veteran. When we got back, I got back in the 60s and John got back in the 70s, we were alone We had no support structure. We didn't have family around a lot of times, so we had to fend for ourselves. Now, you guys get up off your butts and go take advantage of these things.
One last question, Rogue. Is there any age limitation to the people that you try to help out?
None at all.
All right.
None at all.
So there you go, folks. As Rich says, get on out there and be a participant. There is no age limitation, so you really only have no excuse to be a part of this organization. Before I get out of here today, I want to thank John Tassie and Rich Jaeckle for their service to our country in a very difficult time. And I'm ashamed of the way we treated you when you came back to this country.
Well, that's over. Now we're treating a heck of a lot better. We got a bunch of heroes out there, and that's the way it should be.
That is the way it should be.
Yes, sir.
And Rogue Gallart, you are a hero in my book, my friend.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us in the audience. And please do tell your friends and family all about What's the Score. And don't forget, this is a community service brought to you by the Salem Media Group. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. What's the score?